Are you ready to have fun? Yeah! Thank you, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Music with Purpose. Tonight's guest is a legendary guitarist, singer, songwriter, inductee of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the man who brought us the most famous rock guitar arpeggio ever, and for generations to come. Skiffle Dog leader and founder, Hilton Valentine. Please.
About, I don't know how many years ago, but back in the 60s, early 70s, a lot of us were sort of like praying for peace, I guess, with the situation. And here we are in 2017, and it's not any better, is it? This is a song called Peace that I wrote. Accept the world for what it is, you know it will not stop. Heaven, hell, and peaceful skies are running all amok. Turn your head to see a friend and you know that he is not your friend anymore. If you see a man that quarrels, you must learn to pacify. If you see a man is bleeding, you must sit down at his side. And if you see his heart's in pain, you must not crucify him, my friend, my friend. Accept the world for what it is, try to understand. Think of love and happiness on a pedestal they stand. Try to go inside yourself, gain the upper hand of your mind, my friend, my friend. Peace be with you, my friend.
I mentioned Skiffle. Please say hello first, though. Make sure the mic is on.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Cool.
Can you please explain Skiffle for the American audience?
Very simply, Skiffle is American folk music along the lines of a jug band without the jug, but pepped up. It was very popular because pick up a washboard, you could pick up a kazoo, comb and paper, got a little tub with a stick on it, you've got a bass. It was all like homemade instruments. So that's how most of the music started. The rock and roll music started in England.
Music, popular music of the 50s, let's say, because it was a punk revolution of its own type, because these kids were not saying, I'm going to go to university and learn how to study an instrument. I'm going to...
Yeah.
Or something with homemade instruments. Somehow the energy comes through. Tell me how you got involved in Skiffle. Did you start with guitar?
I started with guitar, yeah.
You were the lucky one.
I
had an instrument.
The first guitar I played was a friend of mine who I invited into the group because he had a guitar. And once he got in the group, I said, I want to play that. So I started playing. And as a matter of fact, the first band that we had, the Heppers, we didn't know how to play the guitars. We just put our thumb over the bass strings and played the treble ones. No chords or anything. Just and we used to just sing to that. And we had then we advanced to a saxophone. A plastic saxophone. This size, and only had one thing working. So then we're getting rock and roll. See you later, alligator. Do 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 do. After wild crocodile. Do 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 do. It sounded great. It was.
Skiffle wasn't, well, you mentioned it's American, and it's something that we, our studio audience, we should know a bit more. How far back does skiffle go in America? Do you...
I don't know. I mean...
It's something we should learn.
Yeah. How far does American folk music go back? Probably from the 1700s.
When American folk started becoming. My little bit of research mentioned that in the 20s they started using that word, but it died out very quickly.
Oh.
And they don't even know if skiffle in Britain was picked up, the name. They attribute it to another British reference. Anyway, though, there were a lot of players that were involved in skiffle when you were just picking up the guitar.
Yeah.
And a few of you went off into something else. Tell us about that one, or that particular next thing you did.
The next thing I did, we got involved into playing more rock and roll.
With a pretty famous band, or was it...
I don't understand what you're getting at.
This is the guitar player for the Animals, if you hadn't already known. All right? I took my time with this because it's only one star in a constellation on this man's journey. But
I think I'm going red. Sorry.
I am too.
Okay. Well, after the skiffle group, that band morphed into a rock and roll, which I called the Wildcats. I was playing in the local clubs and pubs, and Chas Chandler, who was the bass player with the Animals, at that time they were called the Alan Price Combo. He came to a gig and saw me play with the Wildcats and said, "How serious are you about playing?" You know, we all had jobs during the day and we were playing at night. So I said, "Oh, I was very committed to playing. This is what I want to do." You know. He said, "Well, would you come to London with the band?" I said, "Well, damn right I would. Yeah." So he kind of poached me from my own band. Mm-hmm. I never heard the band. Alan Price Combo. I thought, my God, it sounds like old starch. You know, Alan Price Combo. I mean, bands at that time were called the Satellites, the Jets, the, you know, hard-hitting names.
Hellstars.
Yeah, things like that.
When you met Alan Price, was he as stuffy as you thought? Was there an Alan Price to the Alan Price Project?
Yeah, he was the keyboard player with the Animals.
So it was featuring the keyboard player at that time. He was the band leader?
No, there was no band leader, really. But I guess there was. That's why they call it the Alan Price Combo. Yeah, yeah.
But Chas Chandler was doing the managing.
No. No, Chas Chandler was the bass player, and he just saw me playing, and they were looking for a guitar player. And when he saw me play, he said, "That's the guy for us." That's what I like to think. Anyway, he says, "You know, come and see us play." So I went, and first time I saw the band play, and I saw Eric sing, it just knocked me off my feet. You know, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing and what I was hearing. I'd never heard this kind of music before. I was just an out-and-out rock and roller. These guys were playing blues. I'd never heard of John Lee Hooker, Jimmy Reed, Muddy Waters. I heard of Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry because they played kind of rock and roll as well.
Stuff.
Yeah. And so I went down and saw them, and I thought, yeah, this is great. So he says, "Well, come up to Club Go-Go on Saturday afternoon, and you know, bring your guitar and your amp. We'll see what happens." Got set up, and I plugged my echo unit in because everybody had an echo unit in them days playing, you know, but not the blues guys. Oh no. He said, "Can you turn the echo down a bit?" You know, I went, "Oh, okay." And I kept turning it down, turning it down till it was off. So when I was playing it, to my ears, it sounded crap. You know, it sounded horrible because I was so used to playing with the echo unit going. But they liked it. They thought it was great, so my echo chamber went.
There's pictures of you doing some very not normal moves for rockers at the time. Let's say bluesmen were more known to be playing on their back or hanging from rafters or whatever. I've seen that, so I'm not exaggerating. And did Chaz Chandler happen to see your moves as well as your playing? Were you already doing that in skiffle, or did you come around to that later?
No, I
on
wasn't doing it in skiffle. No, I might have done it a couple of times with the rock and roll band, the Wildcats. Yeah, I did do it a few times. Yeah, I pulled my shirt off at one concert. I was like pretty drunk, like. You know.
Well, I still think it's better than breaking your instrument, and I respect you for the.
Yeah. Tear my shirt.
We can do what we want to our own bodies, but the instrument gets us to the next gig, I think.
Yes.
After the Animals, you went to a solo career. Do you want to talk about that solo album?
Yeah.
How you got to, what was it, California in the 60s?
Yeah.
Late 60s?
I was living back in England, and from the breakup agreement of the Animals, we were supposed to get a lump sum of money because we had just signed new recording deals with MGM and Decca. It was agreed that Eric would keep the contract going, but he would be called Eric Burden and the Animals, and we would get our share of the advance, which was something, I don't know, at that time it was about £45,000 or something, which was maybe $70,000, $8,000 each. Which back in that day must have been 250, 300, whatever. And I just never got the money. So I kept ringing Eric in America every few months. Hey, what about my cut of the advance? Oh, blah, 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 give him the waffle. And so at the end of the day I said, look, I've got some songs I've written. Why don't you get me over there and get me the recordings during recording and see what happens. So he put me on to his manager, a guy called Kevin Deverich. And he sent me a ticket, got me over there, and I recorded this album, All in Your Head. As a matter of fact, one of the new Animals, a guy called Vic Briggs, he produced it. I thought it was overproduced, but I was just thankful to be in the studio again and playing again. So that's how that came about.
Those songs were already in your head before you flew out?
Yeah.
Can I ask how long have they been? Because that was released in '69, right?
Yeah, 69, 70. Yeah, 69.
And it was a snapshot of the mindset at the time.
Yeah.
Tommy James and the Shondells was singing Sweet Cherry Wine, Crystal Blue Persuasion, and here we have It's All in Your Head, Peace. Is There Anything But Love was just a catchphrase in there. Where did that come from? Were you in Haight-Ashbury in '68?
No. I never got
this was...
I don't know. Some songs, there was a song called Sitting in the Sun, that was written in California on a rooftop.
So a fairly new one at the time, prior to '69.
Yeah.
The soldiers and the like, well, that was a theme that we had gone from '67 on, but it seemed something like, for me, such a snapshot in time, and it's a worthy thing to go look into this artist's roots about spreading peace and love. Music with Purpose is the name of this show, and this man's purpose seemed to be spreading a beautiful message long ago, way on. Now, skiffle, it seems just let's have fun and have a good time.
Yeah.
Are there any sad skiffle songs? Can you play a sad? Really?
Oh, I can't play one. Oh no, there wouldn't be the washboard on the sad songs.
I could never figure. Yeah.
Although that's pretty sad when you think of how women washed the clothes in them days, you know. And it was only women that did it, I'm sure, because I don't think men, even living by themselves, bothered to do that. I think they just put in the water and slap it against the wall. And one of the skiffle songs, Wreck of the Old 97, there's a verse in there that said, he was coming down the line making 90 miles an hour, and the whistle broke into a scream. They found him in the wreck, his hand upon the throttle. He'd been scalded to death by steam. And I sang that song with the Hepper Skiffle group in one of the first gigs that we did, and it was at an old people's do, you know, in the church hall. It was the old people get together and play whist and things like that. So we said, "Ooh, a concert, we'll come and play." And I sang that song on that verse. They all went, "Oh, oh, did you hear that?" But there are sad songs. Nobody's Child is the one that comes to mind.
It's pretty interesting that you had people listening to your lyrics that early on.
Yeah.
How many times do you play and people would just rather play?
Oh yeah. Oh, they weren't playing when it was a special part in the ceremony. You know, that they put the cards away.
Oh, cards were put down.
Oh yeah. Nobody.
Check these young fellows out.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many of the folks in that picture were at that gig? Can I ask?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The sixth one being Hilton Valentine himself.
Yeah.
Thank you. The leather jacket proves right on. He was a proto rocker.
It wasn't actually leather. It was plastic. I could just afford that.
I think it's good enough for the time,
Yes.
certainly, and a real washboard as well, because you couldn't get fake washboards.
No.
Can you even get a musical washboard? You still have to go to a washboard place, right?
No, you can't get them in a music shop.
You can't get that in a music shop.
You have to go to a washing shop, a laundry shop.
So why does skiffle come around and feature big in your in your current musical career?
There was one day I was sitting playing the acoustic guitar at home, and my wife heard me singing these songs, especially the ones that I had written. I said, you should record them, you know. And it sort of evolved from that, going back to the acoustic guitar, and then going back to the songs that I used to sing back in the 50s, and that's how it came about. And it gave me a chance to sing again, because I never sang with the Animals. I mean, Eric was pretty good.
He didn't have any nights where he said, "I need a break. Go ahead."
No.
No understudy for the...
No understudy.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, this gives you a chance to express yourself all over again, and I see that... aren't you going back this month to...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going back to Newcastle, England, and I'm going to play a working man's club called the Colour Coats Crescent Club. It's costing more fortune to get over there. It's costing more fortune to stay there. It's just costing more fortune. I feel like killing myself.
Just slay them dead over there, please.
Credit cards. That's what the credit cards. Yeah. Thank God for credit cards.
So from England to New England and back and forth. What brings you to New England in the first place, or brought you to?
Well, I was doing a tour with like third generation Animals. It was myself, Dave Robury, who was the second keyboard player, and John Steele, the original drummer. And we played Mohegan Sun. And I met this young girl. Not at Mohegan Sun. She met me, but I didn't meet her. I couldn't remember meeting her. That's sad, isn't it? That is really sad. Anyway, it was very quick. It was like past. Anyway, she came to the next gig that we went off and came back to the East Coast, and we met up, and I saw her sitting at a table in this place where we were playing, and she was, guess what she was drinking? She was drinking a Newcastle Brown Ale.
Was it just to meet you, or do
No.
you think that was her?
That was just...
Is that her normal taste?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
that now, right?
Yeah.
She wasn't doing it just to get close.
No.
Wow, a real gal.
But I did. I used that. That was my opening line. I went, I'm from that place. I'm from Newcastle. And then we got on talking, and we continued to communicate by telephone for about, how long? 2 months, 3 months.
Well, a month when you came back.
A month, and then I came back, and then went back, and then that was in July when we first met, and we got married in December the same year. This is my fantastic wife, Jermaine, and not only is she really the best person for me that I've ever met. For the band, she works non-stop, booking the band, talking with people, making sure everything's right, and she plays the washboard and sings. She just does so much, and I would just like to say at this moment, thank you for doing all that.
I dare you to edit that out. Thank you very much. Copy of the kiss, please. Well, is there anything you'd like to mention that we haven't maybe covered or brought out? There's so much that you have inspired with the animals, and that was just what got us across, what got you across to us. But there's a lot more you might want to say.
I look back on my life to think I was so fortunate, you know. It was my childhood dream when I was 13, when I first started playing, to make a living at playing music. And the dream came true, and it was, you know, an incredible ride. Of course, it didn't last as long as I would have hoped it would have lasted. But I did some bad things. I took a lot of LSD. I was out of my mind a lot of the times. But I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. It was like a party for 2.5 years. And then the party came to an end, and we got kicked out. Well, we didn't get kicked out. We decided to leave, you know, decided to break the band up in an amicable way. But I don't regret anything that I've done. I've met so many great people. Chuck Berry, I can't say I went out with Chuck Berry, but met up many times, you know, and swapped stories. And, Carl Perkins, Gene Vincent, the band, many people, you know.
I'm trying to keep my jaw from dropping. That's Carl Perkins.
The Beatles, yeah. The Stones, the Hollies. Yeah, great life. Continuing
to live the dream. I take it as a model. One of these days, I'm going to be a guitar player too.
Well, there you go. If you can't make it with the guitar, you can always do the washboard.
Oh, that requires rhythm, sir.
Yeah,
I leave that to those who have rhythm or washing skills. Yeah. Well, I think that may have started it, learning how to wash before you had rhythm.
Yep.
Something's got to get clean. The song can wait.
Jermaine's got a great T-shirt. It says, "I've got washboard abs." It's a great washboard, yeah. She asked, how did I come up with the opening arpeggio to House of the Rising Sun? Well, back in the day, before I was with the Animals, there was a guy called Paul Anka who recorded a song called Diana. Now, at the beginning of Diana, you'll hear this guitar going. And that's where I got the idea. I didn't pinch it. Honest.
No, he parlayed it.
I borrowed it.
And to the delight of many guitarists and anyone who had ears to listen, and you brought the word arpeggio into the lexicon of more guitarists than you could ever imagine. Thank you so very much for not only your contribution to music, for your contribution to the thought forms of peace in your own solo endeavor, and your continuing energy on having fun in Skiffle Land.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, Hilton. Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, studio audience and staff.